Welcome to the after show, everybody. So, if you were turning into the first half, and I know that you are aware that we didn't really cover the show whatsoever. So, we got through hot flashes because this is it's a very interesting and also there's so many different angles to this story. There's so many different questions. There's so many different ways that people go about this.
Of the dangle.
The angle of the dangle, exactly. So this is a queer family talk show, and I imagine that we are no strangers to the process of starting a family. Anybody who watches, I mean, that's kind of why we do the show. There are so many pitfalls and triumphs to this process, and it is often not for the weak of spirit. There are also so many different opinions and pros and cons, exactly what I was just saying, to each and every thought that's out there, and it can feel very daunting for anyone facing this challenge. We are going to discuss all of this and so much more on the second half of the Qualk show tonight. We're also going to talk a little bit about how we went about or how a person can go about finding their sperm donor, as I lovingly refer to it, Tinder for sperm. Swipe left, swipe right. Swipe. I cannot talk tonight. I swear to gosh, I'm not
Swipe.
high.
Maybe
So
you should
here, yeah, I know. Let's start here. What is the first step when you have decided with your partner that you want to start a family or expand your family? What are some of the first questions that a person should ask themselves to educate themselves on just starting this process?
I knew that for me, I wanted to be pregnant. That was something that I wanted to at least try. I didn't know if it was going to go down okay. But I read, this is not a sponsored video, but I read the Ultimate Lesbian's Guide to Getting Pregnant, I think is what it's called. It was an amazing book because it goes through IVF, IUI, home insemination, sleeping with a man. Like, it goes through all of the different ways that lesbians can get pregnant and kind of really talks to you about it and gives you like a breakdown. So for me, I'm a research gatherer, hardcore.
Yeah. Steph, how did you and Adria, once you decided, why did you decide to go the route of a fertility clinic as opposed to trying at home?
Well, when I saw how much it cost to buy sperm, I wasn't really interested in messing up.
Yeah, right?
So that was number one. And number two, we had age on our side too, and both of us, Adria and I, agreed that trying to pretend that we knew anything about inseminating anybody was just not the right thing to do. And we also knew that my wife is a Google nerd, so she had researched and that we were approaching advanced maternal age, and so we didn't really know the protocol of how healthy our eggs are, at what time and all that kind of stuff. So we figured we'd leave it to the professionals, and that we would bank it on people who do this every day versus us who've never done it in our lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And for the people that might try it at home, Nicole and I have decided that we are going to try it at home, at least the first round, whenever that may be, because we just want to have that experience of trying to have it as naturally as we can at home. Now, I kind of want to educate people a little bit, only because I've been so educated throughout this process. A lot of people hear the term IVF and that's all they think of. But there's IVF, there's IUI, there's ICI. And I have learned the difference between all of these. So does anybody else want to take this on as far as explaining it, or do you want me to keep going?
No, that's exactly. I got pregnant with Casey doing IUI. Much like Stephanie, after knowing that sperm from the bank that we chose was going to cost about $500 a shot, there was no way I was going to take that shot in the dark at home. And I'm glad that we didn't, because I went to a fertility clinic and they ran my blood work. We found out that I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I don't drop eggs. I needed to go on Clomid in order to actually get pregnant with Casey. So IUI is intrauterine insemination. Generally, that's only done in clinics because they have the abilities to actually get the pipette through your cervix up into your uterus. That's some of the best way. But when you do that, you have to buy special sperm, because if it's going straight into the motherland, it can't be the stuff that you just get out of a cup from a dude.
Yeah. From a dude. So correct me if I'm wrong, viewers, but IVF is when they actually go through the cervix and actually attach the sperm to the egg, actually place it on the egg so that fertilization can take place.
No.
They do that outside of the body first, and then they will transfer it. You can do a fresh or frozen cycles too. Okay. And in our particular case, because I too have polycystic ovarian syndrome, I made 22 follicles.
Wow.
The first time they retrieved eggs. And of the 22 follicles, they try to get the ones that are the most productive. And of the most productive, I think it was 12. And then 9 of them went to full maturity.
Wow.
Right? So there's a whole cycle. Yeah. So I wound up using, we got pregnant with Riley the first time. I used 1. Was it 9? It was 9. We used 1 for Riley. I had 8 frozen. I don't know. My wife knows the details a little bit better than I do. I just showed up and was like, stick me.
Yeah, that's how I would do too.
So then we froze them as maturely as I could, and I was 32 at the time. So we knew that we were going to put a little space between the kids so that when we went back to try to have Brinley, I had 32-year-old eggs, even though I was 35. So that worked to our advantage. With Adria, her egg quality was a little bit different. So she needed to do fresh cycles every time. So the first time she was dealing with, 34-year-old, and then, obviously 36. So for her, it worked a little bit differently, but it's amazing how the clinics can time it so that they defrost mine at the same time, make sure it's going to live, and then take her fresh one at the same time, the same day, and then or the same period, and transfer it after they make sure it can grow too. But that process happens outside. They watch the embryos grow in a dish. So our children actually grew in a dish before they were transferred, and then they'll stick it right where it needs to go. But nothing can make it stick to the uterine wall. It's sort of just, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink kind of thing.
Yeah.
So IVF is the most intricate process to get everything that needs to happen to where it's got to go. And then nature's got to kick in and make sure that they grab a hold of it and create the baby.
Yeah, exactly. And then IUI is, they actually just take the regular sperm or the washed sperm and put it through the cervix and then just let it go so that it doesn't actually attach it to the egg personally. It just is inside the cervix at least.
Because for sperm, it's the first hardest thing it has to do is get past the cervix. So they've washed it and they've put it already past the cervix. Now it just has to find the egg. And so you're getting yourselves better chances than just doing an ICI, which is intracervical, which is turkey baster, where you just put it in there and hope that it makes it through the cervix and up.
And that's the way that we will be trying at home. We won't be using a turkey baster though. They actually will be sending a syringe and all the little tools needed to do that at home. But basically, what we plan to do is put it as close to the cervical opening as possible, and then put in a Diva Cup, which is what some friends of mine in Edmonton who successfully got pregnant at home, that's what they did. And then it just holds all the sperm up there for a little bit and gives it a better chance of not coming back down. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, and for people that are wondering the difference between washed and unwashed sperm, because I had no freaking clue what that was when I started this process. I'm like, what are you talking about? Basically, washed sperm is they take out all of the
semen.
They take out all of the fluid, all of the extra fluid. They take out any of the slow swimmers, any of the duds, apparently. For example, I think a male shoots something like I can't remember the exact stat, so don't quote me, but a couple 100,000 sperm. And once it's washed, you come down to between 15 and 20 million sperm, but they are all supposed to be strong swimmers, the best of the best.
Cream of the crop, if you will.
Every single time somebody tells me my kids are cute or that they're really smart, I'm always like, because we picked the best sperm. You literally made sure that the best one out of all those millions made it to where it had to go.
Exactly. Let's see. So let's talk a little bit about how we choose a donor or how a person chooses a donor. So what is this process like? Is it like Tinder for sperm? Is there certain sites that people can go to? Can you do it privately?
Let me take you on a journey. Do you mind now?
Wonderful. I was hoping you would.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm going to screen share because this is what Adrian and I did, only I don't have the wine in front of me. So, that's kind of crazy.
Oh,
look at that.
This last time we tried to go. Oh, there you go.
Okay. So we use California Cryo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, just wanted to show you that. I'm not telling you my donor name, crazy lesbians out there, because I know sometimes they'll take donor names, the donor numbers, and make babies from it. So I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So I know, and I would say names, but I'm not that girl. So when you want to find your sperm donor,
oh my God,
I'm pretty
those
sure,
two first little girls are adorable.
Right?
I think that's Brinley actually with the flowers on her head, isn't it?
Adorable.
Well, this baby's eyes are really close together, so
yeah, no,
That's true.
I'm just messing. There's a strong possibility though to the one to the right could be no. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or all the children with glasses could be Riley too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So when you're going to pick find your sperm, you can click here. Now we did this 5 years ago, so the site's just a little bit different. But when you go here onto the right here, you can pick a donor by height. So if you want a donor that's a little bit taller, great. If you want it was a little bit shorter, fine. But generally what we did is we picked attributes from both Adri and I historically, and looking at our families, and tried to combine that into picking the donor sperm that would most represent our family. So everyone on my side of the family is a little bit taller, but not crazy, draft tall. Adria's family is generally shorter, but not really short. So we kind of picked the 5'9" to 6 foot range, if you will. Eye color, go figure. We picked green eyes, so I don't see it as an option in here. And here it is. I picked the wrong one. We picked green eyes.
Yeah.
And I believe we also we picked brown. Because, we thought, oh, well, Adria's going to get pregnant first, right? She has naturally brown hair. I have green eyes on my side. She has green eyes herself. I have brown hair. So why not, right? Because whether it's Adria's eggs or mine, it's, they'll look somewhat like us. Hair texture, we didn't care. We just left that alone. Blood type didn't really make a huge difference at first, but we realized once you research that actually does make a huge difference. So you got to know what your blood type is specifically for the mom that's going to carry. And mostly because, they'll tell you a little bit about it, but you have to get certain shots to make sure that your body doesn't reject the baby's blood if it's different. So we consulted a little bit on that. Donor type. So we picked anonymous. And for us, that was important because we were not interested in sharing our parenting journey with someone else. But a lot of people pick open because, they leave it up to the child to decide that at 18. Either way is fine. Mm-hmm. Specimen type, you got to know the difference. IUI or ICI. What's the difference? Well, go on your journey and find out. So another thing that was important too, education level, that was huge for my wife. So we went for somebody that was considered fairly intelligent based on their education level. Yeah. Areas of study, we are very arts inclined in our family. I would say she's more mathematical. I'm a little bit more, scientific in my interest level. So we try to pick a combination of that, but really weighed heavily in the performing arts area, so on and so forth. I won't go into the other intricacies in case someone's trying to write these things down and replicate my children. Now, when we came to ethnic origin, we actually originally were going to go with an Asian donor. Yeah. And thank you, John and Kate Goslin. So at the time we were like, yeah, we're going to do that. And then we decided to pull it back a little bit. If we really wanted to try to create children that looked most like us, then that wasn't obviously going to work. So we picked accordingly here. And then we also paid attention to Jewish ancestry because there's things like Tay-Sachs and et cetera that, could affect, your pregnancy. So Adria is Jewish. I was not. But I have Ukrainian background, so we wanted to make sure that those things were good. And then you had these celebrity lookalike options, but when you pick the donor sperm, they will give you the options if you want it at that time based on the criteria that you pick. So we know we know the donor's lookalikes, which is Jason Bateman and I don't know, Adria's.
I don't even know who are these lookalikes? Amir Khan.
That's enough information.
Who the? Okay. I don't know that lookalike. Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, I don't know who would pick Aaron Carter, but whatever. To each his own.
Right.
So let's just pick some stuff for fun and see what happens, okay?
Okay.
So let's pick 6 foot. Let's pretend we want somebody with hazel eyes. We really want to make sure that they have red hair. I'm making the best child ever. I'm gonna make.
You're making
curly,
the ugly stepchild.
Wait,
That's
you're making you're making my first boyfriend, actually.
Oh, I'm making her first boyfriend.
Curly red hair.
Curly red hair. We're gonna go with O. We'll go with O positive since it's the most common.
There's more. Okay. Let's see. Let's do anonymous. Okay.
And what are we gonna do? IUI.
IUI.
Do you know the difference?
Gonna do IUI. Do we want them to be smart or moderately smart?
I want a master's.
She wants a master's.
Yeah.
What do you want them to study?
I don't care.
He doesn't care. Do you care, Carol? I mean, you're
What
kind of.
they earn?
No. Do you care what they study? What's their focus?
As long as they're not the janitor, or no, the one that we saw. No offense to people that work at the Dollar Tree, but like if you're trying to sell your sperm and you're trying to get top dollar and you want to be the one that's bought, I highly recommend that you don't go in your picture with tired ass cornrows and a bio that says that you work at the Dollar Tree, because I am not picking your sperm, sir.
I'm not picking Dollar Tree sperm. But you know what? They ejaculate more often than history majors, don't they?
Probably. Don't care about that.
Probably.
Ethnic origin, though.
Probably.
Let's pick out military. That sounds good. Ethnic origin. Well, based on the fact that they have red curly hair, I'm gonna guess they're not black. I'm gonna guess that they're probably not South American.
They could be Asian. Some Asians have.
I would love an Asian redhead. An
Asian
redhead?
It's not going to happen. You're going to come up with no.
It's
going to say nothing.
Listen, if there's a guy out there that's an Asian redhead, we're gonna know who he is right now.
That has his master's in military? No, it's not gonna happen.
You guys are my favorite people. Okay, let's change that.
Zero donors available. We are shocked and dismayed.
Wait, but I just picked Asian, so I don't want to do any stereotypes, right?
If it's Asian, you have to go with mathematics or something.
That's stereotypical, Carol. Stop it.
Don't pick an area of study and get rid of Asian. There's zero donors available.
That's not true.
Dude,
okay.
It's what it says. Okay. There's still zero donors available.
Oh, okay. So my criteria is too specific. Okay.
So get rid of the.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how fun it is to Tinder.
It is fun. I mean, I feel bad that there's no donors that I'm picking here. I mean, hello. What about Neil Patrick Harris? I mean, he kind of fits this category. Okay, hold on.
But I don't think he needs the money.
Okay, we have 3 donors.
God.
Grandma's boy, come on.
Grandma's boy.
No.
Quirky donor, 13097's quick wit and dry sense of humor. Oh, humor. That's Carol.
Red. What?
Describing you though personally.
Dry sense of humor.
And kind nature certainly entertain the CCB staff. Considerate and empathetic, he makes his living helping others, working in the mental health community. This is Carol. In his free time, traveling, as well as cooking. Yeah, that's not you. A skill he's still learning from his grandmother. Level-headed and intelligent, his casual style matches his calm and laid-back nature.
If you want to have
little baby Carols, still cats.
Yeah, this is. If you want to have little baby Carols, this is the one for you. Although,
oh my God! Be still, my '80s loving heart. Eric Stoltz is the donor lookalike.
Young Eric Stoltz.
Oh, full profile. Yes, Eric Stoltz. I loved you in Some Kind of Wonderful with Leah Thompson.
So this one doesn't have pictures?
Okay, that's not him poking it. Well, that's where it gets fun because you can buy pictures if they're available. Not, then you don't get any.
Because we have been looking at these.
Well, look, there's donor information items. So your level of free, you get the profile.
Favorite animal, red panda. Sorry.
What?
Favorite animal, red panda.
Well, he's a red panda himself, so that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
So you can get free, you don't have to pay additional money, but for additional money, you can also get childhood photos. So this would be an example of that.
Ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Are you going to show our viewers what his actual face looks like?
No, it's an example photo. So if you wanted that particular one, you can buy it for another $145.
Oh, weird. See, we went with Zytec, and I don't know, through a Canadian parent company. I don't even know because Nicole works on all this stuff. But the bank that we've been looking at is Zytec, and they have pictures available, I believe. Because we're maybe in Canada, we don't have to pay extra for the pictures.
No, it depends on your company or which company that you went through, because so the company that I went through and I chose because I could drive to it, I could pick up the sperm and I could take it to our fertility clinic, which saves on shipping, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They don't even offer pictures. It's not even an option.
I would like to point out donor number 12891. If you're looking for gender neutral clothing and gender neutral representation, this is the guy.
That's true.
Why are you laughing? I'm being dead serious.
I know you are. I think that's amazing. Thank you for pointing that out.
Very welcome.
I just really stop telling me that.
So
picture.
you can get letters. I mean, it depends upon what level you're going up to. You can get Q&As. You can get the report, basic breakdowns, all sorts of stuff. But I mean, it just depends upon what level of intimacy you want to have with a donor, right?
Yeah.
So for us, we just wanted
no level of intimacy at all with the donor.
Yep. No.
That's essentially what our choice was, but that's not necessarily the case with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
I don't know what
guys get paid for
is.
their sperm?
Yeah,
What?
they do.
So how much of the fee that you're paying, like with this guy, $7.90, how much of that is actually going into this guy's pocket that did the deed?
Let's find out. How
No,
much?
go to California Cryo and do the reverse if you want to be a donor.
Good call. Bang.
God, so hard being the brains of this operation.
Right?
Viewers, you have no idea. Please
Especially when
subscribe so that I can get some recruits and backup help. Subscribe below right now. Thanks.
How to become a sperm donor. Bang.
You're welcome.
Oh, be a hero. Yes, sir. Be that hero.
And is there any limit to the amount of times that a man can donate? Like I've heard of some of these dibbling sites, so for donor siblings, and they can be like rabbits. Like there could be like 50 or 100 dibblings.
No, there is rules and regulations to it. So that's why it is important if you have a child from a donor to register with whatever site that you got the donor or that you got the sperm from. Because they try to geographically restrict how many children are born within certain areas. Absolutely, yeah. My donor's actually geographically restricted, so he's already had too many children, productive, like actual children produced within the Pacific Northwest. So if you're not from the Pacific Northwest, you can still get his sperm. But there's too many children already in this area, and it's a health and safety thing.
Can I please read this? Because this is fantastic.
Yeah.
California Cryobank reimburses your time and expenses with compensation up to $1,500 a month. Additionally, our sperm donors also receive periodic incentives such as movie tickets or gift certificates for extra time and effort expended by participants. Best of all, CCB donors have a minimal time commitment. We require less than 5 hours a month once you've qualified.
Dude, I'm sorry. How many times are they already getting it off? Like already. And
like
so
you're on a monthly, like you're not collecting disability, you're collecting $1,500 a month for jerking off. Legit.
That is, and I'm sorry.
Why was I not born with a penis?
But why don't you share, Hallie, what you get paid for actually harvesting that child and holding it in your body for 9 months?
I will not disclose my amount because a lot of people get really pissy about it. And
give me a range.
Donors or surrogates in the Pacific Northwest go from anywhere through a company, $25,000 to $45,000.
Wow.
But what if you don't do a company? I guess it just kind of depends, right?
It totally depends on your level of comfort. There's some women who don't use a company who do it independently for $10,000.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why I would never.
Do they generally charge more privately?
No, less.
Depends. I mean, it depends on your surrogate.
10,000 is less than 20,
I mean, what if you're a duggar, right? And you have a proven track record of making 21 children. Do you charge $85,000?
Do you want a duggar child, though?
No, absolutely. My one of the really good friends of mine who's a surrogate, she just did her 4th surrogacy, and her price was upwards of $55 because it was her 4th surrogacy. It was her last one. She's proven to be. She's had amazing pregnancies. Like she has amazing health insurance, which is also a huge thing. So she was like, okay, I'm going to put it out there if somebody wants me for this price, I'll totally do it. And she swooped up an amazing couple and just had beautiful twins for them.
Wow.
Really quickly, Hallie, will you share which place you? Sorry.
And actually, that same couple said if you would do a fifth surrogacy, we'll double your price, which would have put her at over $100,000.
There you go, girlfriend.
I know, it's like, buy me a house? Sure.
Yeah, right?
See, and it's not even about the cash, but it's nice to know that, she can give, and know that she can give that. Because I know right now I have friends that are going through it, and I'm intimately involved in the conversations, and they just, suffered a loss. So they've been on a horrible journey to try to find the proper surrogate for them. And it's, they probably had more losses than they had anything else. But, and that's
so as per usual, it seems like even though it costs lesbians money as well, you want to be a female couple as opposed to a male couple when you are going into this process.
Yeah.
I can't say exactly how much, because my male couple friends are who I'm talking about. I can't say exactly how much they've spent, but I know it's in the 150,000 range.
Yeah,
I know for a fact the twins.
We would be a barren family at that price. We would be barren.
Yeah, no, it's insane. I know. I was my couple that I had twins for, and I love them to death. They're like our second family now. I know that I was their second surrogate. I mean, they had already tried 3 times with the previous surrogate. So there's all of those expenses. And then they stopped and went with a different surrogate and a different egg donor. I mean, yikes.
What is the emotional attachment when you carry a child like that? It wasn't your egg, obviously not your sperm. But it's growing in your body. Like what is the emotional attachment? Is there less because it's not your egg, or it's still your blood going through the veins, right?
Combination, yeah. I mean, yes, it is your blood. I know when I had Casey, I would play with her and I was like, oh, pretty baby, but I didn't have that like attachment to her until she came out and she sat on my chest.
Yeah.
So, and knowing for me, I wanted to be very close with this family. I wanted to continue a friendship. In no way am I a parent to those babies. In no way do I ever want to be a parent, but I want to get updates. And I love those boys so much, the dads. Yeah. And so for me, it was like growing my niece and nephew. Like that's how it was. I love these babies. I know they're going to a loving family. Yeah. That was all it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank God, that there are people like you out there. And I mean, I think that I've heard that from a lot of moms, that until the baby is kind of on your chest and all that stuff, and for me, being a non-biological parent, I already loved Taya before she was here, but I've fallen in love with her over the past year. I love her every new day more than I did the day before, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I think time served on this plane is also where you get to that level, right?
Absolutely. I love my daughter more and more every day, especially as they grow and they start to really become people. Oh my God, my love for her just deepens.
Yeah.
And then some days I want to punch her. So
that's So what are some of the other insemination questions that you've heard out there? We've already covered the turkey baster and how you do it at home. We've already covered IVF and how that works, and we've covered IUI. Is there any other ways that, other than a one-night stand, that you can get pregnant?
All I want to do is make love to you.
Right, get some
One night of love was all we knew.
That's totally.
We can probably do harmony, right? Because you're only 3 time zones behind me.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I think that's the only ways that you get pregnant. I know there's lots of different ways to get sperm. People have sperm parties. People get it off Craigslist. They get it from family. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to get the baby juice.
Yeah, exactly.
There are definitely a lot of ways.
But in the toilet, in the mall. Just kidding.
I've not gone and researched this the way that I would normally research stuff, but I read a few articles that when a surrogate carries an embryo and an embryo in general, that when the baby comes out, that your DNA is also mixed in that, which I thought was really interesting. That's something I want to learn a little bit more about too, because no matter who the biology of the child is, if that's true, that a third party could also contribute DNA to that. That's beautiful to think that child, right?
Yeah,
Well, it's
totally.
physically possible. You can take the DNA from 2 eggs and add 1 sperm and make a child. I mean, you have to have
You carry like your
Oh,
your blood is pumping through that baby because you're generally making the child.
Yeah.
You know, I read a few different stories about that, and I want to go. It would be nice to dive into that in the future, actually,
For
for
sure.
a future
That's
show.
what I was actually going to say is that
information.
we can't possibly wrap up this discussion in half an hour or an hour show. There's so much more that we can talk about. We can touch on all different areas of this topic as well as more personal stories about ourselves. So we once talked about doing this as kind of a series, and I think that would be a great way to go, because after the show tonight, when people watch this, when you have questions, as I'm sure will happen, we'd love to find out that information for you. Anything that we do
below.
Exactly. Make sure you're subscribed. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Again, we could talk about this topic so long, and there's so many things that come up as we're talking that I just want to blurt out and get in there. And I learned this and I learned that. So we'll definitely look at putting this on in season 3, as well as we're in talks with some interesting guests to come on and talk about lots of different ways that you can utilize this process. So remember, tune in next week. We're going to be talking about maintaining relationships, something that I know absolutely nothing about. I'm in a good relationship now, but I got to tell you, if I played professional sports, I think I would get traded every 2 years. That's kind of...
Wait a second. So is this whole thing about my marriage? Just want to be clear.
Pretty much.
Because I suck at them, apparently.
Pretty much. You're the only one that can speak to the 7-year itch, Stephanie, and whether there is or is not a cream for it. So remember...
I know you're watching. You need to give me a list of things I want to talk about.
Exactly. And that, my friends, is how you keep a 7-year relationship. You just say yes, dear. That is what I learn more and more every day. Just say yes, dear, and move on. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for being part of our family. And remember, there is always something to talk about. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Bye.